back to you again for another installment of Understanding Life from a Heavenly Perspective. Guys, this message I have for you today is I was fighting with it. I literally started to create the message, deleted it. I was literally fighting with myself because I'm like, a lot of people aren't dealing with this. A lot of people don't probably will never come encounter with this particular thing or these things, and I said, man, I maybe I shouldn't do it, and I kind of pulled him like, God, are you leading me to do this? And after sitting down and after hours, even days of contemplating this message, I said I have to, because we live in a society today where we have things thrown in our faces. And there are kids growing up in this world. They're seeing different things, and their mindset is so fragile that they think that this is the way this life is that they're in, and this is the way things go. And without knowing that a lot of things come from people trying to control life, opposed to understanding there's a higher being and there's actually a way to live life that only supposed to produce good fruit, that's only supposed to produce love and understanding for you and your family and those around you. Not chaos, not confusion, not unloyal people or different situations that bring about turmoil, heartache, and pain. And so I said I have to jump into this message here, and this message is continuing from Genesis, and it's the second part of chapter 19. Chapter 19 is basically coming off of Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed, and Lot and his daughters being saved, and they move from one land to they end up in a cave where they're now dwelling, and they come into a particular situation, and I have to speak on this, and it's very important. It's so important. I'm still contemplating it as I talk to you right now. But I want you guys to understand, the messages or the things that you're supposed to do sometimes are the hardest. And I feel like the way I think about this is, I'm like, well, if it's not said, if it's not brought to mind, don't bring it into mind. You know, my mind, that's what my mind wants to resort to. It wants to say, well, since not too many people know about it, why bring it into their lives? You're actually introducing it to them. And, you know, and it tries to manipulate me in that way. You know, and that's why you have to be cautious, watch your thoughts, and break it down. Okay, why am I thinking this? Why should I, do this? Or what this thought in my mind, where is it coming from? You have to break it down because it's that serious. See, I'm sweating, guys, because honestly, I never in my life want to mislead you guys. I mean, this is, to me, this message here is powerful, and we deal with a lot of different things in this lifetime that, man, it puts us under. And it's never in my life do I want to sit here and mislead you in any type of way. I want to forever be able to give you information that you can grow with, that you can have a solid foundation as you move forward in life, that you can stay away from things, that you can keep a straight path opposed to jumping in a zigzag formation and going every which way when you're only meant to go one way, and that's straight. And so this message is a part of it. Though we've been corrupted, so we have that part of us that wants to take us from encouraging and putting awareness to those around us, because okay, yeah, there may be some people that don't know, but they need to know, because the worst thing to do is go out into a world you know nothing about and be hit with something you know nothing about, and it conquers you because you know nothing about it. But if you know you're walking in the woods and that tree right there is poison ivy, you will stay away from poison ivy because you don't want to be infected by it. So today's message, I'm going to jump right into it, because right now, Lot and his daughters, as you know, his wife was destroyed because she looked back to the past. And when I say look back to the past, I mean she missed her looking back to the past, she missed what she was leaving, where God was trying to take her from, where God was trying to cut off and bring her into a new place. And she looked back to it in remembrance and when she was told not to. And guys, this message here begins with Lot and his two daughters in the cave. And I'm just going to jump into it, guys, because this is heavy on my heart and it's very influential. So I'm picking up from chapter 19, verse 30. Lot and his two daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the world. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father." That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go and sleep with him, so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also. And the younger daughter went in and slept with him again, and he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ami. He is the father of the Ammonites of today. So today, guys, I'm talking about two different things, and most definitely the main course is incest. God did not create us to have sex and engage in sexual activity with the same bloodline, your relatives. A lot of people have been hurt in this manner, rather it's been through molestation from family members or different things like that. Sometimes these things can take a bigger fold where psychologically they grow up and they begin to do the same thing. It's like a generational curse, and they end up doing the same things to their children. And which why it's a very touchy subject to me, because I understand how serious it is. No, this thing has never happened to me, but the simple fact it has happened to you, I know how serious it is, because your mind and your emotion, that's everything. And if that trust is broken from someone that is close to you, that means that hurts dearly. The two daughters here, they were very impatient. And one thing that's very important here in this scripture that I want to point out here is you cannot let fear control you. Fear controlled these two daughters, that they would do an unthinkable act in sleeping with their father. Guys, when you sleep with the same blood relative, though it wasn't meant to, you have deficiencies or defects if you were to birth out a child, because God did not design you to have sexual relations with the same blood. These type of things happen. These type of things you set yourself up for. And I want to bring in mind that homosexuality also comes from these types of situations as well. Many people out here have been molested and have been hurt mentally and emotionally because of this. And because of this, more and more people today are being raised or even having a thought that they were meant to have sex with even the same sex. And it's a touchy situation because God doesn't make mistakes, guys. There are a lot of different factors to why things happen the way they happen, and I could be here all day going into it. But what I want to say to you guys, if you were born a man, you were meant to be a man. If you were born a woman, you were meant to be a woman. If you feel any different anyway, stop for a minute, slow down. Don't think irrationally. Don't get emotional. Sit down and retrace the steps of why you feel this way. Understand, do your research, and gain knowledge to what possibly could be the reasons for this. How could it be I was born one thing and think to be something else? We have to pay close attention. We have to recognize these things. Sometimes it's not going to see a doctor, but actually just retracing our own steps and seeing what's what. So I say that because I was going to say just now, you could be, born in a single parent household. You could, a number of different things. If you think about a boy being born to his mother and you see feminine ways about him, or a girl growing up with her father and she is more manly, not in physical form, but just her characteristic of how she acts. Same way with the boy. A lot of people take that and they see that as that person may be this or that person may be that. And a lot of times there's power in the tongue, guys, and a lot of people will put that on you. So it's a lot of different factors, guys, and I don't want you ever to jump to that conclusion. This may be who I am or who I was meant to be. You are who you were born. And what you have to understand is that's why God comes in the mix and shows us and understand not who we just are as an individual, but who we are as a people, as a whole, what your design is, what you were meant to do. So when you understand these things, when you go out and you see what the world is doing, you will realize that the world is trying to water down or dispose of who you really are. I want you to understand this, guys. Where I'm coming from is strictly love. And as I sat here and read this scripture, all those different types of things came to mind, like the desperate, the fear that the daughters had over themselves. You can never let fear control you. And the simple fact is, guys, and I want to go even deeper with these girls here is, and relay the message to you is, you have to watch your surroundings as well. That's why I said earlier, retrace your steps. Think about what you've been into. What has this come from? Because to just say I was born a certain way isn't going to cut it. That isn't an excuse. You were born one way to be one thing. Now the Lot's daughters and Lot himself, they came from Sodom and Gomorrah. So they came from a wicked place that was into homosexuality, that did different things, that was just nothing but sin. It was the worst of the sin in which they came from. See, they didn't truly embody God's way. See, I want you to understand, the reason Lot and his daughters were saved was because Abraham, he had favor in God's eyes. So because they were close to Abraham, they were protected by God. They were saved by God because of that. I want you to understand something. If they weren't, they would have been destroyed right along with Sodom and Gomorrah. but God saved them. But I want you to understand something, and this is especially goes to today. Though they were saved, they were brought out. Their mental aspect, their mental perspective of life had been tainted and corrupted to the point that they would even invite the thought, they would even give in to the thought of having sex with their father just to keep their lineage going. That came from a result of indulging in things and being in an atmosphere, an environment that they were never meant to be in. You are meant to be around God's love, and guys, if you're out there and you're in an environment where love is not around you, it seems like you just have negativity and demons or whatever it may be, a negative spirit, a demonized spirit around you, whatever it may be. Make your way out. I know it may seem tough, it may seem like it's a pull on you, but fight. You have fight in you. You have everything you need to survive. But right now, that negativity is holding it back from growing, and from you blossoming into the person you were always meant to be, a mighty person with love and goodness inside of you, meant to spread amongst one another. Today's message is dear to me because we have a lot of this going on in today's society. And there are a lot of consequences coming from it that a lot of people don't understand why. A lot of people are confused. And a lot of people are truly hurt because of choices from other people inflicted on them. And they're pretty much reaping the consequences of others' choices. And some people are so manipulated and deceived that they think that this is the way of life. And so I tread lightly with this subject, but I want you to understand that I love you and I want the best for you. And I know God's way is the best way. I know it's meant to show you a great way, to show you a successful life, to get you to the benefits, the joy, the happiness that God set up, and get out of the weeds and the entanglements of sin, the entanglements of wrongdoing. I know, man, it's tough because it's a mindset, and it's so strong in people, it's so strong in us as people, these different strongholds, that it's hard to shake when you don't know how to shake it. And you want to so bad, and some people don't even know. And guys, I just want to encourage you, continue to seek God. I mean, that's what this message is for today. And I didn't want to bypass this message with Lot's daughters and understanding that, hey, watch your surroundings, number one. If God isn't in the atmosphere, if love isn't in the atmosphere, if positivity isn't in the atmosphere, that's not where you're supposed to be. 2, do not let fear control your actions. If you find yourself fearful about something, you stop, you take a breather, cool down, and think on settle down, and then make a decision with a sound mind. Because again, we are facing the consequences of choices before us. Well, you have the opportunity to break them so that they won't continue on past you. You have that opportunity to break them so they won't continue in you. And guys, that's the message I have for you today. I just want to encourage you guys, man, to keep pushing forward in life. Continue to break off those things that are bothering you, that are hindering you, that you feel that, hey man, why can't I get here? Why can't I get there? This is just one stronghold. And it's not the stronghold of the incest that the daughters did, but it's the stronghold of a sinful nature. These are the consequences of engaging in sin, the consequences of engaging in wrongdoings. They never did that before. Scripture never talked about Lot's daughters having sex with their father. But it did talk about them living in Sodom and Gomorrah, where a lot of wickedness was going on. We live in today's time where a lot of wickedness is going on. A lot of sinful things are going on, guys. And we have to watch it. We have to protect ourselves. And in order to do that, we need that hedge around us. We need to come to God, understand the ways, and we were meant to walk as mankind, as human beings, as people, and walk that path. And when we walk that path, these types of things will never harm us. We will never feel fear, because God will show us that He never put fear in us. We will always have that love around us, because hey, He will make us in His image, to the only point we will only attract those with the same image. He will put love in us, to all we do is give it out, and those will give it back. See, this is what your environment will begin to change into once you embrace God's way of living. But if we indulge in a sinful nature, if we indulge in that sinful environment, then guess what? We invite those thoughts in, those same types of thoughts that the daughters of Lot engaged in, they indulged in, that they accepted, because they were used to being in an environment that thought this way, that did things in this manner, to the point where, hey, let's do this. They entertain that option. Let's do it this way so we can further our lineage, so we can keep our lineage or our bloodline. Guys, stay faithful. Stay moving forward. Stay prayed up, and understand prayer means that you're speaking to God, and you're speaking to yourself, and you're letting yourself know that we're going to make it. We're going to succeed. And that I'm hurting in the area, and you're being truthful with yourself and getting it out there so your mind can be aware. Because if you're thinking about it, if you're on the inside thinking about, man, I'm hurting, it means nothing. But when you speak it out, say, I'm hurting, man, I need some help. You don't necessarily have to speak to somebody about it to hope they help you. Just speak it out to yourself. I'm telling you guys with all of my heart. If you speak it out, it's like when you speak, sound travels and it bounces. So when you speak, that sound will travel, it bounces right back to you. Your ears take it in, and I'm telling you, some things are happening on the inside that you know nothing about. But when it takes in that thought and it hears that, it's like an awareness pops on, and it says, man, I'm hurting. Your mind, your body will begin transformation to give thoughts to you, to find ways to heal yourself. Guys, I'm telling you, it's more to us than what you see on the outside. We're way bigger as a people. Come on. You see it each and every day. Everything that is built in this society, in this world, is made for us, made from us, for us. We are the valuable ones. We are the valuable piece to this puzzle, guys. So therefore, we have to be in tip-top shape. We can't fall victim to different things. We have to be aware. We have to learn. We have to continue to grow and gain knowledge. We're never meant to stay at a level, never meant to stay at a place. We're always meant to grow through all the days of our lives, not just when we graduate high school, not when we hit adulthood, not when we're 50 years old or 70 years old. We're meant to continue to grow and learn, be effective, positive in this life until the day that we die. So guys, I just want to encourage you guys once again and just let you know I love you, and don't forget to embrace the struggle, because that's where the growth is. I'll catch you guys next week again for another installment of Understanding Life from a Heavenly Perspective. God bless.